Okay, guys, I'm so excited about today's episode. Our guest, Lil Rob, is born and raised Boricua from Brooklyn, and in this episode, we are honoring Hispanic Heritage Month. We're discussing everything from the Jones Act down to the gentrification of heavily populated Puerto Rican neighborhoods of New York. Pero that's not all. As a seasoned educator, Rob is shedding light on today's teaching environment and the challenges that he's overcome. Can we say pivot? I'm telling you guys are in for a great episode. Go ahead, get yourself a pina colada, some mofongo, get comfortable. You are about to receive the history lesson you didn't even know you needed. Cue la música, por favor! It's a little flow. I don't know why I feel like rapping nowadays. All right, okay. Hi, my name is Valerie. I burnt a lot of calories. I ran up to New York and then I tripled up my salary. It's me here with Lil Rob. About to get this mic and do my little job. It's a black job and I'm about to go crazy. Everybody always talking shit about Haiti. Let me tell you, baby, we ain't eating no cats. But we're going to wait for that later. Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Passenger Seat Parlay. In honor of Spanish Heritage Month, I wanted to honor my first Hispanic guest on the show. From the classroom to the digital stage, introducing Lil Rob.
Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Real good. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And can I just say, you are just so classy.
Listen,
I just love the pose and everything.
always.
Oh my gosh. So thank you. And by the way, guys, you will see the pictures and how we look, but we both did not coordinate our outfits today, and
right?
we came
we just
on
knew. That's why.
It was a vibe because I'm like, okay, Latin culture, Black culture, it's culture. Today I'm repping Haiti, and you're repping
Puerto Rico. Woo.
and Africa.
Yes.
And you know what's crazy? I thought you were Hispanic. I thought you were Puerto Rican the whole time. I didn't realize you were biracial.
Yeah.
Okay, the
He's
ultimate combo.
biracial.
Hey. Now, would you say that contributed to why you decided to study Latin and Caribbean studies?
Yeah. So for me, I really wanted to study Latin studies specifically to understand that part of me. Because growing up, I was more entrenched in Blackness, being in the States and not living in a Hispanic community. So I wanted to learn more about it.
Yeah, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Brooklyn.
Hey, you're
in Park Slope specifically.
Oh, excuse me. He said Park Slope.
Yes.
Credit score just went up 40 points.
Listen, as it was getting gentrified. Let's not do too much.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been in Brooklyn. My mother's family has been here for many, many generations. So I'm very entrenched in the culture here. So
very much so. And what I think we should totally touch on is a lot of people don't realize these Latin cultures are based out of African descent.
Yeah.
You know, even Haiti is a Latin culture. So that's why I was like, let me wear my Haitian drip because, you know, Haitians are Latinos, pero...
And a lot of the countries wouldn't be free without Haiti.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, 1804, stand up.
Yeah.
Pero even though it's like, even though I can't say I don't relate to Black American culture as far as their struggle, it's like, we're all the same group of slaves. We just got dropped off first in the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's something I always explain. Even in Puerto Rico, there's huge Black communities.
Right.
And a lot of the culture wouldn't even be there without them.
Exactly.
Because that salsa music they be loving.
Okay.
It's blickety black.
Okay. Do you remember that Dave Chappelle skit that he did in the season 1 of the Chappelle Show where he went to the barbershop and he was trying to get the different cultures to dance? And it was like electric guitar for the white people, something else for the Spanish and the Black people. We need the drums at 808.
Yeah.
That is so factual.
Yeah, because the drums come from Africa.
Exactly. Even when I listen to soca music, it's like I could dance to soca music nonstop all day more than hip hop.
Yeah.
But Haitian music, boy, I'll be on for 24 hours. Like I won't get tired. And I'm like, why is it that? But I'm like, some things are certain like ingrained in your culture.
Yeah,
you know,
because that's how Combo be hitting.
Okay. I love that. So Rob, please let the people know about your 6 years in education and what's that been like for you.
Ooh, child, it's a story to tell. But definitely my thing going in was growing up, there just wasn't teachers who looked like me ever. Especially male teachers.
Right.
The only people who I saw that looked like me in the schools tended to be the security guards or the janitors.
Yeah.
And that's it. And growing up in Brooklyn specifically, seeing it get gentrified so quickly, they just erased us ever being here.
Wow.
You know,
Like set it and forget it.
Yeah, like even when I said I was from Park Slope, your immediate thoughts, ooh, credit score up.
Yeah.
But growing up here and seeing it being gentrified, all of our history was lost. And for me, I really wanted to reclaim that history and teach it to the children as well.
Oh, so beautiful.
Because, you know, growing up as well, I didn't get my history in school.
That is true.
I got it at home because my parents would assign us things to learn. So I was reading, you know, all these Hispanic heritage books, but also like Malcolm X and Nelson Mandela and Harriet Tubman was my mother's favorite.
Okay.
All these things. And I wanted to impart that on the kids. And not just those historical figures, because a lot of times it's based in just civil rights and slavery. And there's so many layers to it.
Right.
Especially understanding the diaspora. So that's why, like, my focus has always been teaching them about Black people worldwide. Because there's so many of the kids who are Hispanic and Black at the same time, just like myself. And no one ever thinks about that.
Yeah.
You know, their image of Hispanic is like an Eva Longoria type or Jennifer Lopez. But they're not thinking of...
I don't know. Jennifer Lopez now or yesterday?
I have a lot of feelings about J-Lo, but, you know, she loves to play an Italian woman.
I said that. I'm like, J-Lo, why can't you ever have a Hispanic love interest?
Yeah.
I really want to see a solid love, like, between two Spanish people, like, on TV. Because I feel like I'm trying to think of a Spanish love story, and I can't.
Unless it's in the Spanish language.
Or if it's a novela. I love me some novelas now.
Yeah. And I love those too. But even in that, they show people who are white and bright on those things.
That's true. Con leche.
So, like, you watch these things and you just never see yourself.
Yeah.
You know? So that's why for me, like, there was few people where I saw myself in.
Right. The
like,
Afro-Latino vibe.
Yeah. Like, my favorite to mention is Mariah Carey.
Yes.
That's my girl. In my mind, that's my cousin. Why? Because she's biracial, she's Latina and Black all at the same time. And people don't get this multi-layered identity when you are Hispanic or Latino. Or even the terms we use, because everyone likes something different.
Right.
Because some folks love to call themselves Spanish. For me, that's not my vibe.
Do you think, like, referring back to Mariah Carey, do you think she's more receptive because she has more white features?
Oh, definitely. And that's something even I've been aware of in my life. Being lighter.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely coming with a different reception.
Yeah.
Because then when people get to know me more, some people don't clock the Blackness. Other people, they know immediately.
Right.
They're like, I've heard you talk. I see your hair. You just a little yellow brother.
But no, you do give like brother, sister vibes. Yeah.
But like, I do recognize when you are of lighter skin in both communities, whether it be Hispanic or Black, it comes with a certain privilege as well. Yeah. And that's why I've been cognizant of it and using it for the better. Because when I step into some spaces, especially the educational space, I'm able to talk a little bit more and be a little bit more brazen.
Yeah.
Because I can use that level of privilege.
Right. This episode is about to be so fire, and I cannot wait. Because just the gems you just dropped they're giving. It's giving. Speaking about education, I wanted to talk to you about what do you feel like the current educational system has changed within your 6 years? Because you've been teaching, if I understand, for 6 years. So you've also experienced teaching under where we had a Democratic president and also during a Republican president as well, too. Yeah. So I just wanted to know if you believe there's been any differences between how the educational system has been ran under the different...
I definitely do see more fear around teaching history specifically, since that's what I teach. A lot of it is walking on eggshells at this point.
Really? Even here in New York?
Especially here in New York.
Wow.
Because they realize where their money is coming from, whether it be property taxes or in the charter school system, is donors. So we're not allowed to talk about certain things. You know, when the issue of Palestine came up, we had to be really hush-hush on it.
Really?
Yes. That's been a big thing. Or just representing the kids themselves. Just this last year, I had to fight for an American history class to not just talk about slavery. Because we did more than that. Yes, it's an important part of our history.
Right.
But there's more than that. Or even for global history, it was very much just Europe. And when mentioning Black countries or Latin American countries, it was a footnote or a paragraph.
Of course.
And there's so much more to talk about in that. And these kids want to learn about themselves. They don't want to just hear about Napoleon.
Right.
They want to hear about Simone Bolivar,
Right.
Toussaint Louverture. Like, these are the people that they should be hearing about. Our streets are named after these people.
Even the whole Israel thing, I'm sure you have Israeli students. I'm sure you have Palestinian students.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you navigate these pressures?
It's so hard because you can't please everyone all the time.
Right.
But you need to provide information and correct information so kids can make decisions for themselves. That's really been my big thing. I don't like to tell them what to think. It's not indoctrination.
Right.
It's giving you the tools, giving you the documents, the sources, so you can understand for yourself.
Right. And there's so much misinformation out here because I feel like the kids, or not even the kids, because even our president, they go to TikTok, they go to social media for their facts, you know?
And that's the thing, like, teaching them
Former
how to
president.
vet sources. Former president.
Yeah.
Because we ain't claiming Mr. Cats and Dogs. But, you know, kids need to learn how to delineate between a real source and a fake source. And that's why I like teaching history, because that's a big bulk of our class.
Yeah.
It's teaching them these life skills. Because we have to live in this world, and those kids are going to be of voting age really soon.
Really soon.
And need to make those decisions. And I don't want them going into the world uninformed, especially about the country they live in.
And speaking on that, what do you feel like the long-term effects are going to be with Generation Z and even Generation Alpha, how they learn? Because I feel like technology has really changed how children are absorbing information. And like you said, like fact-checking, all that jazz.
I think including technology is a reality of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen it in my own educational journey when we went from just writing in a notebook to then having those big bubble computers and type it on those.
Okay.
You know,
Projector life.
Yeah, the hot projectors and all that. And then by the end of it, having laptops in school. Like, I've seen all of it. There's benefits to technology. However, we need to teach them how to use the technology responsibly and not just rely on it.
Right. Because
there's so many different resources that they can use in the world, and you need to teach them how to access it.
Now, what could you say about the gap, the reading and the learning gap that's going on right now?
Ooh, that reading gap, child. Ooh.
Yes, please elaborate on that for the people who don't know.
So, you know, I've taught pre-pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, and afterwards. There was so much learning loss in those 2 years.
It's crazy.
Because kids were at home just looking at a screen, and parents were doing their best. And I don't like people blaming the parents. It's just they don't have all the tools. They didn't go to school for that.
True. Or they're working.
And they have multiple children sometimes.
Yeah.
So kids really lost out on the art of reading and writing.
Yeah.
On the ages where they were supposed to be learning those things. Because I had kids who were in the pandemic in 3rd and 2nd grade.
Yeah.
And you're building those skills then.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you miss out on those 2 years, you're so behind. And to be honest, I don't know what we can do to fill those gaps at this point.
Yeah.
But it can be done. We just have to work with the kids at a different pace and learn that what we did years ago isn't going to work now.
Right. I feel like we're going to have a generation of chat GPT kids.
Oh, definitely. And there's nothing wrong with AI if you use it responsibly.
Right. I'm a fan of AI too, for sure.
Because I use it in my teaching, AI. But you also have to have some knowledge yourself.
Basic skills. So a lot of people say like how kids can't read time. Like even myself, because I'm so used to the digital clock now, I'll look at a clock and I'm like, it takes me longer to process.
It takes a second to process.
And I'm just like, but it's also like, it's kind of obsolete too now. Like we don't really need it.
Well,
per se.
I don't like to say we don't need certain things. I say that we should have
educator.
A vast repertoire of things we know, even if it's quote unquote obsolete, because, you know, I'm a historian. We need to know things of the past.
That is true, because I feel, especially in the education system in Florida, like DeSantis and his book ban and all that jazz. So I always felt like New Yorkers or other states just learned way more than we did in school, especially when it came to history.
Like, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I think we learned it differently, yes. But we didn't learn more.
I think you did learn different things than we did.
Yeah.
I have a random story time. The first time we covered slavery was watching Roots as a class. And of course, I was the only morena in the class.
Oh, I have a root story afterwards, but yes.
Oh, yes. So, like, we get to the part where they have to chop the foot, right? Mind you, there's a whole bunch of 13-year-olds in the room traumatized. There's this little girl named Jessica who sat across from me. And when the hammer came down, the foot came off, right? I don't know why the teacher decided to just end it off right there. Face red, crying, boogers, right? And she turned around slowly and looked at me and mouthed the words, "I'm sorry." And I was just like, ooh. It was so awkward. And the whole class saw her reacting and saw her looking at me. So all these little faces started looking at me. And I'm just like trying to like keep myself together, like not show anger. Because that was fucked up. Because I feel like, especially growing up in a PWI, people don't realize that thing is traumatizing to us.
It is.
It really is. And like, you know.
In school, like, because I don't know if you know Alex Haley's Queen as well, the sequel to that.
I never saw it. Oh, maybe I did and I forgot.
With Halle Berry, right? So we had to watch a clip of that one in school, too.
Never seen it.
And the whole story is she's biracial. She's the daughter of the slave owner.
Gotcha.
And same thing, sitting in that classroom, it was very much looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, y'all look alike.
Ooh.
Is this you would have been working in the house.
You would have been in the house. I would have been in Mammy.
And it's just hearing those statements from white people is so jarring.
Yes.
Hearing in the community is fine. We all have those jokes.
Yeah.
And we do it amongst each other.
It's like laughing at our pain together.
Exactly. That's how we got through it. But to hear it from white people is quite jarring. And
very much so.
All those moments in school, whenever they would mention things and you're in a PWI especially, they just look at you.
Yeah.
And they're like, we need to know, how are you feeling?
Right. What do you think about this? I would say, well, my people got dropped off first. I'm Haitian.
Yeah.
But I feel it. Because even like, I mean, we overthrew our colonizers, you know? But it's like, but that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? That's my sister. We're all family. We're all from the same tribe. We're just spread apart. It's just like, I don't know. Yeah. Back to the story.
And
I'm like,
and Haitians do have a really dope perspective because y'all were the first ones to do it.
Yeah.
So you have this different aspect of your history and heritage that like my people don't have at all because we're still a colony of the United States.
That is true.
You know?
And even Puerto Rico being a colony, thank you for bringing that up. I feel like even though they've been a colony since the late 1800s.
1898, yeah.
Yes, sir. See, he know his history. He got his facts. And till now, I'm like, okay, it's been over 100 years. Why isn't Puerto Rico to the standards of America now when it comes to like economics?
Oh, because of the Jones Act
of
1917.
Elaborate on that.
So basically, a lot of the products that they make in Puerto Rico, because even some of my family, they worked on those plantations, growing sugarcane, growing coffee. But the products in which they were tilling from that soil, they couldn't even get it.
Wow.
Because these things are sent to the United States, the mainland first, and then sent to Puerto Rico. The same thing happens for Hawaii. And nobody talks about Hawaii or American Samoa. So all these things have to go through the mainland first and then come to us.
That's crazy.
And the taxes are insanely high. That's why, like, I found it crazy as a kid. We were sending barrels back home with coffee and sugar. And I'm like, y'all got the fields next door.
Yeah.
And I
Shout out to Barrel Life. If you're Caribbean, you know.
You have to hide all your clothes and your toys, you know.
Okay. Listen, my mom set my bike back in 2005.
Listen.
Said I was going to get a bike. I never got that bike.
I'm still vexed. My cousin got my confession shirt 2004. Shout out to my cousin Elizabeth.
Ooh. Hi, Lizzie.
Still had my shirt in Puerto Rico, 2 sizes too small. But it's all good.
Oh,
but like
God.
these things have held Puerto Rico back so much. And a lot of the people in Puerto Rico know they could leave to the U.S.
Yeah.
Because we have this citizenship. I think of a lot of my family. Like my grandfather worked in Florida often.
Oh, nice.
In the plantations there for the orange companies.
Oh, yeah.
And then would go back home on the off seasons. And he did it for so many years in the 60s. And a lot of this is done, and it's not going to contribute to the economy in Puerto Rico. You're giving to the American economy in the States. Because you are living there. You buying food there. You have to rent out a spot there. You know, the little bit of money you give back to your family is just to survive.
Yeah.
It's not stimulating the economy there. And people who do get educated in Puerto Rico leave.
They leave. Do you ever see them pouring back into the country?
Barely.
Yeah.
Many people
Happens a
I've
lot.
seen just move to Florida
Yep.
or New York,
Yep.
and that's where they stay after being educated because there's no opportunities when you are highly educated in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
The schools are closing down. They're not getting any funding.
That's so crazy to me. Living in 2024, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to call it a third world country, especially when it's.
But that's what it has become, especially post Hurricane Maria.
Wow. When did Hurricane Maria come?
I think it was like 2016. Don't quote me on the year, but
okay, no worries.
Very recent. And because of that, the electric system was ruined. And now it's a private owned company. People always need generators because the electricity goes out. Their homes were destroyed. People have tarps over their roofs still.
That was Trump's era.
Yeah. When he threw paper towels at my people.
I remember that. I saw that video.
And now we got some reggaeton singer, I think
Anuel.
with him smiling and cheesing.
Right.
When he was throwing paper towels at us.
Like
that's going to dry up the water from a hurricane.
Right. Like build some houses. And this is where I'm like, this government funding, even if it's a U.S. territory.
Yeah.
Why are we sending, and this is, discussing Democrats as well, too, because.
Yes, they're at fault as well.
It's like, why do we have all this money? We have our tax-paying money. And the fact that Puerto Ricans are actually paying tax, too, is crazy
and don't get a vote.
And they don't get, they don't get a vote.
They cannot vote in the presidential election.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, because they're still a colony. And I love that the U.S. calls it a commonwealth and keeps it cute. But Puerto Rico doesn't get any of that. Wow. Also, the U.S. Virgin Islands, which are next door, don't get any of that. And no one wants to talk about them. Why? Because
Philippines, Guam as well?
Well, used to be the Philippines. Okay. Philippines has independence. Guam is still part of the United States, along with American Samoa.
Gotcha.
But the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico are profited off of so much by the U.S. And the U.S. Virgin Islands, no one speaks about it because they're a Black majority nation.
Right. And tourism is through the roof in these places. And it's like they don't even get to keep their own money.
No.
That's crazy.
And a lot of people do not step outside of those tourist areas to really see what Puerto Rico is. It's a beautiful island. But there is deep poverty in the island, especially in the Black communities there of Luisa, Fajardo, Carolina. These are all places where slavery was a huge thing along the coastline.
Right.
And it's on the east side of the island. So that's where enslaved people were coming through from Africa and settled because that's where the plantations were.
Exactly.
And now the descendants are there still feeling the ripple effects of it over 200 years later.
Now, let's kind of go back into the whole slave transatlantic trade vibe. So when it comes to Hispanic Heritage Month, when I think about it, I think of Hispanic, right? Mm-hmm. And then Hispanics are like the second highest demographic in America.
Yeah.
Which I feel that, great. The census says in 2020, it was 18.3%.
I think so,
versus 60 being white American. Yeah. But I also feel like there's a lot of people of color who still check off white.
Yes.
And I think that's wrong. Not like wrong that they do it per se, but it's like the numbers are skewed.
But there's a reason for that. Because in Latin America, the concept of race is flipped. Where if you have one drop of white blood, you are entering whiteness.
Interesting.
It's flipped because there just wasn't enough white people during colonization there. So they needed to have a ruling class of some sort. So they also had the thing of moving more Europeans in. Some countries, yes, they are very white, like Argentina and Chile.
Right.
But then you have countries like the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
Who the white population is quite small.
Right.
So they have to cling on to any bit of European ancestry to fulfill that idea of having a ruling class. And they bring it here. And I'm like...
And they're still checking off white.
Yes.
Why?
And I don't understand. I'm like, you look like Florida and James Evans. Like...
I know Black, I know Dominican.
Exactly. I know Black, I do bachata. Pero diablo, you got to check off Black. Like, you are a brother. You are a sister.
You know what made me kind of confused about that? Growing up in South Florida, we have an influx of Cubans. Yes. So I would go to school with a lot of Cubans, but like looking at them, I'm like, they look Spanish, right? And then their last names are Hispanic names.
Yeah.
But it's like, they would, I don't know, it's so weird,
Well,
but some of them would pass.
But Cuba is so different in Florida because the ones that get to Florida are the white ones out of Cuba.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so hard for Black Cubans to get out and get to the States.
And stay in the States.
That too, because all the programs are made for white Cubans. Black Cubans have such a difficulty. And the ones that do make it, they often just end up passing into Black American society.
Right, or integrating into white society.
Yeah, because the Cuban community is not as accepting here because it's so white and Republican.
Why is that?
Because in the 80s specifically,
Mm-hmm.
the Republican Party under Reagan was trying to supposedly help Cubans.
Right.
And bring more over. But in reality, it was just, we need more white people in this country. So we're taking some white Cubans.
And you know what? Thank you for saying that. Because I feel like even with this whole Project 2025, I hear conspiracies about how it's only being passed because white people are having more abortions.
Yeah.
And they want it. And I'm like, but then when I look at the census, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, okay, 60%. I'm like, how much more do you need?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And why is that? And it's also like, I get not wanting to have abortions at a certain age. Because I'm like, okay, if you're having an abortion in the second term.
But they're not doing that. That's the thing.
They're not having abortions at 9 months? No, I'm just kidding. Oh my God, the foolishness.
At that point, the baby walking and shit.
Right? They're eating. Oh God, I'm just having a Trump thing again. But I feel like when it comes to this whole agenda or this white supremacy agenda, it's very taxing for me to think about what is the reason? Like, why is culture such a thing?
Being a minority because they know how they treated us. And they're scared that we're going to do the same thing back to them.
But it's like, especially when it comes to me being a Black person, me being
a woman at that too.
Yeah. It's like, I feel like they are waiting for us to get back. And honestly, this is sometimes I'm like, all right, ghosts can't really be real or have the power I think they do. Because the way these slaves would have taken back their lick back now.
Exactly.
And all the killings.
At this point, white people would have been out of the world if our ancestors came back and got
rose.
them.
Exactly.
You know? So I need them to understand that. They shouldn't be so fearful of us growing in population and rising up in our existence.
Yeah. I had a friend tell me yesterday that we're in South Florida, West Palm Beach, right? Her mother's colleague was on the phone just laughing at getting gas or whatever. And some deranged white woman came up to her, was like, oh, you're laughing because you think you're going to get a Black president, a Black female president. What are you happy for? Like just deranged and shit. And then it kind of sparked a thing in my mind. I'm like, damn, I didn't think about that. Like if Kamala is successful and becomes the next president, yes, we have our first woman president of the United States, which is amazing. And then secondly, it's like we have a biracial because she is Indian and Black.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Because biracial people always think it's just black and white, but
it's really not.
For my Douglas people there.
Okay,
y'all
the
biracial too.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I never thought about how, hate towards Black women could, like, we're going to be targeted now.
Yeah.
Low key. And I'm just like, whoa, I got to start.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, let me start walking with a weapon again.
Targeted.
In so many ways.
So this just heightens it.
Yeah.
And that always happens when there's some historical event. There's a group that's going to get it. We think like post 9/11 with a lot of our hijabis who were really attacked back in 2001 and even beyond.
Yeah. Even till this day, like the tension between Israel and Palestine earlier this year, like when the tensions really started making news. And I feel like social media and the media in general, they push out to the world what they want to be pushed out. And I do believe there's always an agenda behind there,
Yeah, there definitely is.
Oh, God. So I want to get to this section called Pit Stop Questions of the interview, where I ask you different types of questions and you just kind of give me your ideas of the vibes.
I love that.
So this is back towards education. Name a slight struggle that teachers have that most people are not aware of.
The struggle of having agency in our classroom. A lot of people think we make the decisions, but most of the time it's people above us who make decisions for us. And then we have to present it to the children because there's a lot of things that they have asked me to teach over the years that I don't agree with.
Such as?
Definitely the way they expected me to teach about slavery,
Mm-hmm.
the way that we looked at Latin American independence movements when I was teaching AP history specifically, because AP curriculum is super Eurocentric.
Oh, wow.
So, a lot of the things I didn't agree with how they wanted me to teach it. And I did have to sneak things in often. And my babies remember that because some of them, they in college now and they're like, I remember you teaching me about Dutchy Bookman,
Yeah.
all of this. And it's really important that teachers still do that despite us having the struggle of listening to a higher up.
Yeah. I never realized how much you guys do as a teacher in general. And then, like you just said, like you have to follow like certain guidelines.
Yeah.
State guidelines, school guidelines, especially you're in charter. So it's like each school does things differently. I feel like parents think that teachers have their lessons planned out for the year and they teach this, and this, and they add it in, easy peasy, done. And we don't realize how like your class sizes are different. They're big. You guys have different levels of education in there.
Yeah, we have to deal with sometimes a kid reading on a 3rd grade level and then a kid on a 10th grade level in the same class. And how are they both getting what they need at the same time?
Right.
You have to think about that every day.
Yeah. Like, do you guys ever like separate the kids? Like, because back in Florida, we used to have like AP, middle.
Definitely some schools separated, but there's different settings. So like the setting that I most often teach in is called ICT, where you have gen ed students and special ed students in the same room. You have 2 teachers. In that, the kids are integrated together as they should be.
Right.
But with the 2 teachers, they're each getting their targeted support that they need, which is something I love to see. And I do wish that it wasn't only for ICT setting. I wish it was in just AP classes, in gen ed classes where you have the 2 teachers.
Yeah.
Because it makes such a world of difference to the kids where you could have a moment with your teacher and really click in.
Yeah. Do you think class sizes are an issue right now?
Oh, yes. I've had a class of 40 kids before.
40?
40 kids, yeah.
40 against 1?
40 against 1. No desks for some of them.
Wow.
Not enough books for some of them.
That's crazy.
And this is the reality we have to deal with. And we have to make it seem to the kids like nothing is happening, talking about, oh, just share the book with your shoulder partner, or we're going to have fun seating today. You get to sit in a beanbag. Like, because we don't have enough resources.
Talk about making lemonade, boy. That's crazy. And do you feel like resources are dwindling year by year?
Oh, definitely, because I feel like a lot of administrators are spending the money incorrectly.
Elaborate on that.
A lot of it, I will say, in the charter school system is for appearance, as opposed to really helping these kids. They want to pay to have photo shoots of these kids so they could put it on the side of a bus.
Right.
But they don't want to pay to get the proper books for kids or give services to kids who don't speak English in their language.
Wow. Yeah, I get it. I mean, they're putting more into marketing versus the fundamentals.
It's a business for them. But for me, it's educating the kids from the community in which I come from.
And what are some professional insights that you've learned along the way?
Things that I have learned so much. It's really about the kids, and sometimes you have to check yourself at the door and not just give up yourself. I'm not telling teachers to do that, but you have to check your emotions.
Yeah, facts.
Sometimes you can have really big emotions, but little Bobby there, he got emotions too that you need to help him regulate.
Yeah.
And you have to realize that when you're in these spaces, you're setting the temperature.
Yeah.
You're the thermostat, basically. You're not the thermometer.
Yeah.
You're not reading temperature. You are setting it. And you could bring that into other spaces in your life. When you enter a space, you have control of yourself.
Yeah.
And you can add so much to the world. And that's what I've learned as an educator.
I love
bring
that.
things to the table.
You do. You do set the tone of the conversation. But I also feel like teachers suffer a lot from burnout. Too.
Oh, definitely. We've all burnt out many times. I know I have.
Right.
But, in those moments, I have to remember that teaching is my career, yes, but it's not the only aspect of me.
Aww.
There's so much more to my life. I have a beautiful family. I have wonderful friends, and I love all of my different interests.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many aspects to me. So I tell teachers, do not put your all into the career.
Right.
Because at some point, that's going to end. And what do you have left?
Yeah.
So you need to build yourself as well. Because you check
Absolutely.
out at 4:00 and you just have to sit with yourself and you have to love yourself.
Amen. We preach it. And what are some of your outside interests that you love?
Well, for me, I'm very involved in everything in Brooklyn. So I love being involved in community events.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So
Such as what?
So like a few weeks ago, there was a wonderful drive giving out backpacks to the kids.
Oh,
Which
nice.
was really cool. Senator Myrie, hopefully he'll run for mayor. He's always doing wonderful stuff for the community, and I really love to be in his events. Brooklyn Borough President Reynoso as well.
Wow.
Does a lot of things for the community. He's from here. He's Dominican.
Ooh.
Yes, and I love what he's doing. And he comes from South Williamsburg, which is another neighborhood that's being highly gentrified.
Oh, yeah.
And it used to be Los Sures.
Ooh,
where
Los Sures.
a lot of Puerto Rican and Dominican people settled very early on. And I love going to his events because he brings that Latinidad back into Brooklyn because the people are still here.
Yeah.
And I also love supporting all the music events in Brooklyn, a lot of the Caribbean music events, because it's the whole Caribbean, not just dance hall.
Yeah.
Love Jamaica, but also the wonderful soca music scene out here.
Very
the
much so.
Haitian music scene, because
Sapaseos.
compa is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, bachata, reggaeton, salsa, like all these things. The Caribbean community has really come together in Brooklyn, and it's not only English speaking anymore. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's French speaking, Spanish speaking. So definitely, y'all, check out Little Caribbean
Yes.
online. It's a beautiful community we have all built here. So
I love it. Do you ever think that Brooklyn will lose its culture if gentrification continues?
Definitely. As someone who is a multi-generational Brooklynite, I've seen it lost. Because when I mention the neighborhoods in which my family has been in, whether it be Park Slope or Bushwick or Williamsburg,
Oh, yeah.
all those neighborhoods.
Top 3, I think, hipster.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Yeah.
And
I'm a transplant, y'all.
And for me, these neighborhoods were Black and brown. It was Puerto Ricans. It was Black Americans. It was Trinidadians. Like, all these different groups were here and built the culture.
Yeah.
You know?
When did gentrification start coming over here?
So for different neighborhoods, for Park Slope, it really began in the late 90s and early 2000s. So in my childhood, it was already beginning. But for Bushwick and Williamsburg, it really began in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Okay.
So, and Bed-Stuy as well is a really big community that is deep in my heart, and I'm seeing it change so quickly.
Yeah.
All those brownstones are being bought up by white people. And a lot of our communities are being pushed out. So we see a lot of Puerto Ricans moving to Pennsylvania and Connecticut specifically. A lot of the Black American community is going back down south to where a lot of people's roots are.
Yeah.
But Brooklyn is really losing a lot as gentrifiers come in.
You know what? Not to say, technically, I would be considered a gentrifier because I am a transplant.
Yeah.
And, you know, granted, I'm Black, so I don't look like a gentrifier, but I'm paying the gentrifier price. You know what I'm saying?
But you're adding into the community. That's the difference. You're not taking away from the community that's built here.
That's true.
You're trying to learn about the culture here.
And
you are
assimilate.
integrating yourself into it. With gentrification, they completely erase us. That's why, like, as I said, when I mention these neighborhoods, no one remembers the Black history. No one remembers the Hispanic history behind it.
Yeah.
And we built all of this stuff here.
That is true.
All of these factories that are around here, we were working in them. All the buildings near of it, we lived in. You know, we played on these streets. These are all our things that have been here forever. And all we have left, oftentimes, are little signs commemorating us as if we're just a relic of the past.
Right.
But we're still here.
A little mural here and there. A street name or so.
Yeah, and those things are great, but that's a symbolic victory.
Yeah.
I would like to see actual victories.
Yeah.
Put some money in our schools. Stop raising our damn rent.
Yeah, that's so true.
You know, allow us to live here and thrive here. Because for some of us, this is what we know. Because I love those questions when people ask, where are you from? Where are you really from? And if you dare say you're from the United States or you just say you from Brooklyn, people are lost. But this is where I'm from. So many generations. And this is my culture and heritage here.
I'm going to ask you a question about transplant culture.
Oh, yes.
So I was talking to someone else, like in the comment section. Do you feel like there's a certain time limit where a transplant can claim that they live in Brooklyn or they're from Brooklyn?
You ain't from here. Let me tell you this right now. There's qualifications. Did you have the green student Metro card? Do you even know what that is?
Don't know.
No. Did you get the free at the pool?
No, sir.
Exactly. There's certain things you don't know about. You know? You have to remember these things. Not just eating a mango cherry coco and calling it, oh, I'm in New York now. I got a bacon, egg, and cheese, a chopped cheese. I'm going to keep it a buck. We wasn't even really eating chopped cheeses back then. That's in Harlem. It spread, but there's also areas in New York that a lot of y'all don't know about. You put us all together.
That is true. That's from a real life Brooklynite.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think about the people that were like, they came here from young, like 4, 2. So essentially all they know is, New York.
That's a very different thing. See, they had the green student Metro card.
Okay. If they came from young.
Yes, they had the free at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
They had these things. They were playing by the fire hydrant.
Yeah.
But
Sally, who came here and lived here 20 years.
No.
From when she was like 30.
And we got to check the accent too. You coming in
That's
here
true.
Talking about, well, I'm from Brooklyn. How are you?
Like a vibe check.
And it's like, baby girl, you from Dayton, Ohio, which is cool. We love you over there, but you are not from Brooklyn.
Okay, well, that answers that. I love that. No, it's true, because the way Brooklynites will fight you over their status, like, you can't claim us. You can't claim here.
Nah,
you know what I'm saying?
We ain't cool like that. You could visit us. We love it.
All day.
Support our industries, Black-owned businesses, but don't claim that you from here. Rep your set.
That is so true. Can I say, side note, when you said support Black businesses, I have been trying to find a good Haitian restaurant since I moved here, and I have not found someone who tastes as authentic South Florida Haitian food.
Well, I think for the Haitian community specifically, if you go by Newkirk Avenue, that's Little Haiti right there. That's the heart of it. There are so many beautiful Haitian shops there. But also, the folks who be selling plates outside, those are where you get the good food at. I have learned, no matter the culture, but
get the outside plate, Yes,
because right next to the Jamaican spots, you will find the Haitian ladies. They got their carts. They are ready. And they will sell you a wonderful plate. I like the black rice.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Child, can I tell you, I had some Dijon, and when I tasted, I said, this tastes like hibiscus. They didn't even use Jean. I don't know what kind of...
Not them putting some sorrel in it.
Some sorrel rice. And I was just like, what is kiss sound? Like, what is this? I was so upset. I was like, you know what? I'm done with the Haitians in New York. I'm going to South Florida.
I can't find Puerto Rican food in New York.
Really?
Because there's none of us left here. There's so few spots. There's only one that has lasted. And I want to shout them out because it is a Black-owned Puerto Rican business.
Let's go.
Casa Adela. So in the Lower East Side, because everyone wants to call it something different now, that is LES. But Casa Adela is one of the last spots where I find authentic Puerto Rican food. And they have been there since I think about the 60s.
Oh, wow.
And La Señora Adela has passed away, but her family has really kept it up.
Love that.
To see beautiful Black Puerto Ricans running things in a community that's shifting is amazing to see. So I always shout them out.
Now, do you think New York will ever lose its culture?
Oh, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, it's already losing it. When I speak, that's my big thing. When I speak, people are like, why are you talking like that? Because even the accent is gone. That was my first clue in the past, I would say, decade. I see the accent is gone. And I have no qualms about it. I am not changing my accent.
Yeah.
It's staying.
Well,
I know.
You're also older and you're an educator where you have to
Even in the classroom. No, I'm not doing that. I'm from here. I'm going to talk how I want to talk. I'm very educated. I got 3 degrees.
Okay, count them up.
And with those 3 degrees, I was still talking like this. Because I know when I first went to college, I was telling you before that I wanted to get into radio and broadcasting. And one of the first classes I took was on speech. And a lot of it was that newscaster accent, live at 6, here we are. And I can't do that. That's not me.
Yeah.
I want to be, whether it be on the mic or in the classroom, talking regular schmegular.
Schmegular.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And in New York, we do have an accent, and it differentiates by your ethnic group. I want to specify that.
And borough.
And actually, no.
You don't think so?
No. As a historian who loves linguistics, it's actually based on your ethnic background.
Really?
So Black New Yorkers, Puerto Rican New Yorkers, they sound different.
I think Harlem sounds different from Brooklyn to me.
You know why?
¿Por qué?
Because Harlem received a lot of people from the South specifically during the Great Migration.
Okay,
so
come
it's
on,
more
history degree.
African American influence, but in New York, it's more Caribbean influence. Because I know when I talk, a lot of words sound quite Caribbean, and I peep that when I speak to people. Like I say hi, hello all the time. Hi, hello, good morning, or morning. And these are Caribbean things.
Yeah. Did you mean Brooklyn versus Harlem?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Because Brooklyn is very Caribbean based and Harlem is more African American. So it's really about the ethnic background, even amongst the white people here, because they have been here as well.
Yeah.
The Irish versus the Jews or the Italians, it all sounds slightly different.
Yeah.
But we all have this New York accent.
Not all gentrifiers are white, And I feel like I see, like you said, the Italians, the Russians, the Jewish community, all born and raised generations here too.
Yeah.
And such a vibe compared to people I've met in South Florida.
Yeah, it's such a different thing. And when you were mentioning gentrifiers of different races, I had to wrap my head around that there's even Latino gentrifiers.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially coming
and Asian.
Yeah, and Asian.
No one talks about that. When they say Park Slope, they see the white face in their mind, but really there's a lot of Asians here too.
There are. And for the Latinos that are gentrifying, a lot of them tend to be white Latinos.
Yeah.
And recognizing that multiple communities are a part of gentrification is something that I had to learn about and people had to educate me on.
Yeah.
So.
Do you think gentrification is a bad thing in general?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Because revitalization is different from gentrification.
Ooh, elaborate.
People need to delineate between the two. Revitalization is bringing up our communities and keeping the people who are there.
Yeah.
Bringing them into the mix. Gentrification is about pushing us out. Because for me, seeing gentrification happen in real time meant all the people that I knew and grew up with are gone. I'm one of the last ones left.
Aww.
And even just seeing my own family having to leave the community. There's so few of us left to the point where if I see somebody who got some color to them, we might be cousins because that's how small the community has become.
Okay. Who are you people them?
It's just such a difference. Revitalization is seeing these Black businesses come up, seeing Latino-owned businesses come up. And it's so rare, especially, I will say, in the Puerto Rican communities here. We don't own a lot of things. And that's something I realized.
Yeah.
Those Hispanic-owned businesses tend to be Mexican, Dominican, Central American. But for Puerto Ricans, we live here, but our mark hasn't been made in the sense of business and revitalization.
Damn, that's real.
We're giving our money to people, but who's giving money to us has always been the question.
Yeah.
And
keeping the dollar within the community.
Yeah.
That's something that I feel like within the Jewish community and a lot of the Indian communities too, how they keep the dollar circulating within themselves.
Yeah. But the thing is, how are we going to circulate the dollars when we aren't even given the dollars to begin with? And here in New York, the African American community and Puerto Rican have been so hands in hand. We've had to live together. A lot of us are a part of both of those cultures. We're the results of it.
Right.
And we've still had to deal with the struggles post-civil rights. Because everyone loves to talk about it was only the South. But New York City schools were not fully desegregated until 1963.
63? Wow.
Yes. And I think about that. My aunts, my uncles, my mother were part of some of the first classes that were desegregated. And that's crazy to think of.
There's even classism here in the school system, I believe.
Yes.
Can you talk on that? Because I didn't
the
bring that up.
classism is amazing because it's based on where you live.
Yeah.
So for example, here, this District 15 is very well funded. But if you just go one district over, you see such a different thing. And that's why charter schools are popping up there.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, because I'm right here. I live in Crown Heights at the drip of
Yeah.
Prospect Heights. So it's like I automatically see the difference
Yeah,
because they're starting to gentrify my particular area where they're cleaning things up. But you're getting close to Nostrand and Utica, heavy Caribbean
yeah.
blocks.
And you could tell when you on the train if you can't get your seat anymore. For those who know.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, I thought you was getting off here on Grand Army Plaza. You going to Utica?
right. Right. You just said
crazy.
if you know, you know.
If
You
you
have to
know.
live here.
Yeah.
Facts. And you know what it made me sad too? Just to talk about like zoning for a little bit. On Nostrand and Utica, when they legalized weed, the selling of weed, and all these head shops started popping up.
Yeah.
Literally over the course of late 2022 into now, well, they're actually starting to shut them down.
Yeah.
But 2023, a new head shop was popping up.
And I'm just like, I just wanted to go to the corner store to get a sandwich. I can't get a sandwich no more.
A sandwich and a blunt.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they love to have the smoke shops, bless their hearts.
Yeah. But I crossed
for the folks who want to smoke, they want to eat too.
Yeah. And I crossed one block over into Prospect Heights, tea shop, yoga shop, coffee, a educational learning center. But why can't the children the block over receive the same thing? But we have head shops getting approved.
Yes.
Open up. It's just, it's very clear with that gentrification line.
That's why it's really important I tell people your local politics is what makes it happen.
Yes. They're so focused on the presidential candidates.
The presidential election is very important. But you have to understand there's checks and balances.
Sir.
This is from your 8th grade social studies class. This is why my class is very important.
Yes.
You have to know the local politicians are really what make the change happen. So when we do go out to vote for them, be conscious, get to learn them. And a lot of them, they're very involved in the community. Like I know I mentioned Senator Myrie. He's been in our community and has been doing so much work. And I wish people would understand and give him more credit.
Yeah, I would love to have him on the show.
Yes,
you think he'd come?
I would love that because he oversees Park Slope and Crown Heights and Prospect Heights. And these are such different, diverse areas. And he's serving all of them simultaneously and doing it well. But a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Because we're not involved in our local politics.
We're not.
We
need to make that cool. How can we make this cool for like the younger generation to tap in?
Honestly, the way that I have found that makes it cooler is through events and getting to know people, because that's what got me in. Because going to a lot of the events, I've been blessed enough to go to like the inauguration of Reynoso or little block parties that they hold.
Yeah.
All these things are really important because you get to see them and you can speak about your issues.
Yeah.
And they really want to make the changes, but the people above them don't want to make the changes because they're like, the community ain't really checking for that.
Yeah.
But we are. We want education centers too.
Yeah, we do.
We want to do some yoga.
Yeah.
And I love tea.
Right?
I would love a chai. Chai latte.
Please.
A nice little Indian blend, maybe a Pakistani blend. Like, they're very good.
Yeah.
But we deserve that too in our spaces.
Yeah. You're just touching on so many things. Now, second to last pit stop question. We're going to make it a little saucy. I want to ask you about the controversial act that went down in May of 2024 with the teacher who got backlash with having his children or his students unbraid his hair in class on live.
I love to talk about this. This is my perfect thing.
Now, I want to know what you think. For those who are not familiar, there was a teacher, Marquise. He went on live and he had asked 2 of his students to unbraid his hair because he was getting his hair done. And he got a lot of backlash with that. He was on live, saw some negative comments. He stopped the live, then went on TikTok and started to defend himself. And it just started this uproar of negative comments. And there's a lot of children were saying, like, we're comfortable with our teacher. This isn't weird for me. You have parents who are outraged. It was a mixed review. So I want to know from an educator what you thought. It is a
mixed review. So as someone who has definitely partaken in the hair care space with students, I've done my kids' hair before. But the act of undoing the hair is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Because that's such it's making them subservient. And I don't want to do that to my female students. And that proximity was just not okay.
Yeah.
And also posting them and going live. I know that students' parents sign off on things so students' faces can be seen on social media. But if you read the fine print, it's not your private social media. It's the school's social media.
Okay, fine
And you
print.
in the middle of teaching, why are you on your phone on live?
Yeah.
Those are the things that are wrong. Because I'm not going to lie, I've had my hair done by the kids because they wanted to learn how to braid.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. And it would happen at lunchtime, basically, a little club situation.
Yeah.
Where they're learning how to do hair. Did my hair come out good all the time? No. But at least they were learning, and it was in a nice public setting. We are not posting it, and it's not about a service. It's about them learning how to do some hair. They wanted to learn how to do Fulani braids. So I was like, okay, this is what we're learning.
Exactly.
And it's a learning experience. That's different. But you also have to know there's a proximity that you can't pass, especially as a male teacher.
Right.
With female students.
And do you think he got more backlash because he was a Black male or just a male in general?
I think because he was a Black male.
Yeah.
Because I do think that white men in the education system, they don't get as much backlash for certain things they do. Mm-hmm. But definitely Black males, there's a micro scope on them. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because you have to think about it. Like when we go in those spaces, there's so few of us already. Right. So everyone's already looking at us.
Yeah.
And you making it hot.
Yeah, facts.
There's just certain things you have to know. And correct me if I'm wrong, but there was also evidence of him speaking to them via text.
I believe I saw that as well, too.
That's something that is also an issue because communication should be from you to their parents.
Exactly.
There's no need for them to speak to you. And if so, it's about school, it's via email, and you need to ask me, what's the homework? And that's it.
Right. And you know what's crazy, too? Like, in our generation growing up, we didn't even know our teacher's first name, let alone have their phone number or anything
I still
like that.
don't know some of their first names.
Right.
Like, it's a mystery to me.
I know here in New York, like, a lot of you teachers have to contact, like you mentioned, parents directly. And, like, you'll contact on phones and email regarding.
We have to. There's a quota we have to fill to contact parents.
So do you feel like the fact that you guys have to do that makes it easy for boundaries to be crossed between students and teachers?
Draw these boundaries.
Exactly.
That's the thing. People only do what you allow them to do.
Exactly.
And you even need that for your personal lives, y'all.
Okay.
Don't let people reach out to you if you don't want them reaching out to you.
Yeah.
Especially at night. That's an inappropriate hour.
Because and also I feel like parents need to establish boundaries with their children on when they're contacting their teachers too.
Yeah.
And monitor.
And I just feel like there has to be limits on how they contact you.
Yeah.
I like via email. That's my thing. Some Google Classroom situation.
Yeah.
Where it's on the company website.
Exactly.
You do not need my number.
At all. And the kids nowadays, you teach middle school. They'll find your social.
Exactly.
And
based on your phone number. So stop giving out your number. Also, create Google numbers.
Yes.
Create a second number so parents can contact you. Because otherwise, they too will look for you. Mm-hmm. Don't give out your personal stuff in case you want to leave too and start another career.
Exactly. And I had a lot of comments on my video that I posted about this situation. A lot of the children who were commenting under it were like, you guys make everything so weird. We're so hard. It's so hard for them to connect with teachers. We want to connect with our teachers. Like, what do you think is like a healthy way to connect with, students?
Definitely just talking to them about topics of their interest. That's been my thing.
Yeah.
Mostly. I have done the kids' hair because some of them, they have different situations.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to do it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I could do a little slick back, twist their hair. But a lot of the relationship building has been around learning about them as people.
Yeah.
So if they want to talk to me about some anime they're watching.
Love it.
I might not know. The only anime I know was Tina Turner.
Tina Turner's an anime?
That's her government name, girl.
But
that's the only anime I know.
Okay, that was so clever. Threw over my head. I'm like, Tina Turner has an anime? Anime! Eat the cake anime!
But I will learn. I was learning about Death Note.
I love Death Note. I'm going to talk about it.
Very interesting from the kids. But things like that, that's where I connect with the kids. Or music is a really big thing for me.
Yeah.
So every morning in my classroom, I'm playing music. And they get to pick the different songs. Every day is a different theme.
Yeah.
My favorite always is Soca Wednesdays.
Soca Wednesdays, very nice. Keeping it cultural.
But Mondays is our smooth R&B section.
Okay,
to
love
start
that.
off the week calm too. That's a good one, because I get to learn what they like.
Yeah.
Apparently, Fantasia is big with the kids. Again.
Fantasia?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
When I see you.
When I see you. What they know about that?
They love that.
Crazy.
And Keisha Cole for some reason.
Oh, okay. We're having a revitalization of the vibes.
I
okay.
like that. So that's how I like to start with the kids building relationships. They get to see you as a person, but with boundaries.
With boundaries.
You know, don't be walking up your waist in the classroom, you know?
Okay. Facts. Oh my God, I love that. Last and foremost of the pit stop question. If you could be doing any other career right now, what would it be and why?
Oh, this is a perfect question. So the other career I would like to do is be in the media.
Love it.
Yeah. My vibe, I've always explained, if I were to be a media personality, is a dash of Wendy Williams. You know, I like the hot topics, you know, and we're from the tri-state area, you know.
Yeah.
We have that way about us. And then also Amanda Seales. I like what she does. She's very much my vibe, where we're some militant people. I know.
Yeah.
We like to talk about history and the facts and make people uncomfortable, but we also bring comedy into the mix.
Yeah.
And we're very much about our cultures because Amanda is Black American and Grenadian.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that she represents both equally and weaves it into everything she does. So for me, I would love to be on the mic, talking my mess.
You know, as an empath and a spiritual healer, I can certify say you are meant to be on the mic.
Well,
you have a je ne sais quoi. And I would love for you to come on Passenger Seat Parlay and parlay with us any freaking time.
I could parlay anytime.
Okay.
You let me know.
Y'all hear Robert. If you love this episode, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. And definitely tune back in for him because he will definitely be back on the show.
I sure will be.
But touching on Amanda Seales, because I got to ask you.
Okay.
What do you think, speaking about hot takes, what do you think about the controversy that she's been seeing? Well, now she's not too hot anymore because DT's making a mess right now. But when she was getting that heat earlier this summer about her controversial views and things she was saying on the Shay Shay Club, being autistic and all these things.
I do think she has controversial views.
Mm-hmm.
But women in autism, because I also specialize in special education.
Ooh,
so
nice.
that's my area of specialty. Black women are so underdiagnosed for autism.
Yeah.
Because they show symptoms differently.
Yeah.
Studies were done on white males. So I believe her when she says she's autistic.
Yeah.
Have you heard homegirl speak about things in depth? That's a big sign of autism.
The hyperfixation.
Hyperfixation, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she can recall things and remember things. And she's admitted she struggles with some social cues sometimes. And that's why she talks so much and she's so loquacious.
Yeah.
You know, these are things that are signs of autism. So I do believe her.
Now, what's the difference between signs of autism and ADHD? Because I have ADHD and I definitely was not diagnosed until an adult.
Overlap because it's so hard when we're trying to diagnose these kids and take notes on them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that hyperactivity and lack of focus.
Yeah.
That's what kind of delineates between the two. And for autism, it's more about social interactions and social cues where you're struggling with that. And also executive functioning sometimes.
Like Asperger's?
Yes, Asperger's is a simple way to put it as well. Like it's on the spectrum. Because it's not just one thing in autism.
Yeah.
It shows up in so many ways. So
yeah.
For Amanda Seales, she might be on one end of the spectrum, and then somebody you may know might have a different thing. Where they're struggling with, I said, executive functioning, where daily living might be an issue.
Yeah.
So I believe her on that. And for her other controversial takes, it was mostly on Palestine. I want to keep it a buck.
Yeah.
That's why people were vexed.
Yeah.
And she didn't care about it because she's an independent business and runs her stuff.
And she got that coin.
Yes.
Okay? She don't care.
And I say the same thing. Listen, I'm standing with Palestine as an occupied country too of Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, people are occupying your land.
Yeah.
And you are from there and you just want to live.
Yeah.
That's all it is. People want to live.
Even here in America, people want to live and not feel like they have to work all the time. And feel like people are struggling everywhere, I feel like.
Everywhere in so many different ways,
Okay. Now, to honor your on the mic love, because I want to give you a spitfire. I've never done this before.
Okay.
I would like you to go off and tell me a few hot takes that you just had bottled up. Or, you know what? I have a last pit stop question because I did this before.
Ooh, okay.
What is your unfiltered, most unpopular opinion that you just want to put out in the universe?
Ooh, unpopular opinion. Ooh, I'll be
Break
ready.
the internet.
So my unpopular opinion is that people just need to stop moving into New York. I'm so sorry. That's love you, girl.
I came
But
right
my
before the
rent
pandemic.
going up.
Yeah.
I need people to stop moving in, and they need to focus on us who are here and have been here.
That part.
You know, it's okay to come and visit, y'all. You can move in, maybe. We could talk about it. We got to discuss first. But my controversial take is we got to take care of our own stuff here in New York. We really do, especially for the Black and brown communities.
Amen. It's true.
Yeah.
No offense taken, because I feel the same. I just don't want to go back to South Florida. I can't.
Oh, girl, I don't blame you.
Okay, so he said I'm allowed to stay, y'all.
It's a mess over there, honey.
Oh, my God.
That ain't none of my business, though.
Right? Okay.
I'm going to drink my water and mind my business up here.
And sip the tea.
Yeah, because we could have access to clean water up here, too.
Okay. Side note, I'm like, y'all drinking water out the tap still triggers me because I'm Floridian, but hey, I trust it.
Listen, certain states never got access to it. Hello, Flint, Michigan. So,
okay.
Kamala, help that out. Anyways.
So many things to fix.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the parlay.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
You are always invited, by the way.
Yes, because I love to talk, as you can see.
Okay, what's your sign again?
I'm an Aquarius.
Oh, you are an Aquarius?
A February Aquarius, yes.
February when?
February 9th. I share a birthday with Alice Walker, yeah.
Very nice. You're the day after my mom. I'm surrounded by Aquarius. Half of my family are Aquarian, my godson, you, my partner. You guys are a vibe.
That's why.
We're a vibe. I love this. Thank you for coming on the parlay, and I can't wait to have you on the show again, for sure.
Yes, thank you for inviting me. I hope to be back soon.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.